Greetings, everyone. Welcome to my sketchbook. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I hope you have a wonderful week. It's Monday morning. Should be a good day. I saw something on TV, and every so often, I like to visit this place. I'm actually a fan, for the most part, of this place. I saw a commercial, and I misheard something, or should I say, more than 3 people, I'm sure, has misheard something. So I'm going to do a drawing kind of based on that and some terminology that, well, uh, somehow got popular maybe a couple of years ago. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. So we're going to start off by drawing a chicken, and let's zoom in on this first. It's good to have you join me, by the way. Let's go to this level, maybe. Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to have here is a chicken. And I'm going to do kind of like my own version of a chicken. So it's not really going to be an accurate drawing of one because, well, I'm not looking this up. So I'm just kind of lightly drawing something here. Maybe in my mind, I'm kind of thinking of like foghorn, maybe, but not exactly. I don't know if I want to have chicken eyebrows. I'm going to try something, I think. Okay. So what we're going to kind of accomplish, I hope, is a chicken kind of looking over their shoulder. Like, so they'd be turned away from us and then all of a sudden would turn their head to see us. The chickens are not generally built like this, of course. Get these huge deltoids, huge lats. Now, I am going to put some tail feathers on here, though, of course. I'll add detail, of course. make sure the obliques are there. We're not going to have super severe glutes. Because we are still going to have chicken legs. I have some mystical meaty legs. It's like that. So the the concept is your favorite quick service restaurant has an item on the menu and it's returned. You've had it before, perhaps. You've loved it before, perhaps. It's a chicken Big Mac. Oh, yes. Well, I just so happen to know somebody that somehow may have heard something differently. And maybe, just maybe, they thought it was the chicken Big Mac. Well, that's what I'm going to draw here. Heading back up here. Can't have a chicken without decent sized wings. Okay. Now let's see if we can add some detail of sorts. Or a bit more detail. I usually kind of move in a little bit of detail. All right, let's start off with the face of our chicken, and maybe we'll extend a few things here. Since we don't get to see the lower part of the beak here, we're going to put in just a little bit of it here. And as I said, this will be my version of it anyway. The chickens are funny to me. For a creature that is reasonably calm most of the time, I mean, they can be frantic. They are kind of funny when you see a large group of them, especially as little ones in chick form. I've been to chicken farms, not like the huge industrial ones, but I've been around different types of farms. And when you see little baby chicks, they're kind of fun. They look like little fluffy yellow marshmallows, just little puffballs just running around. And kind of in a similar way to how you might deal with like pigs, for example. You have to stay pretty clean around them. At least that's the way this particular farm ran. So poultry farms have different kinds of reputations, but some of the smaller producers, they're usually, I don't know, much nicer, kinder to their animals. At least that's the way I found growing up. You didn't always name those creatures. They were purposely raised, so you treated them a little bit differently, but some you would. Now, you might have heard me telling a few stories about someone I knew who was involved in 4-H, who raised a lamb and they didn't cut or remove the lamb's tail, and it had a long tail, which you don't typically see because sheep can be kind of messy. Anyway, that was interesting. And that was a very, very long time ago. So, I have a big back chicken. Now, if you've had this famous sandwich that it's based on, it's generally like two pieces of, two patties, seasoned, on a sesame seed bun with like onions and pickles. I also believe that, well, it's a sesame seed bun, if I didn't say that already. Well, this one's made of chicken instead. And oh, what fun! But for a limited time. And as I said, I have no ill will. For the entertainment purposes, Okay. Scapula. I think bodybuilding is still pretty popular. At least in kind of, I think it is. It's one of those things that, depending on what you have going on, you quite possibly uh, would participate in competitions for symmetry, well, really for aesthetics. You might say, well, what makes it a sport? Well, I think what makes any competition a sport is how you can react to it, I suppose. So the competing part, especially in something where it's about aesthetics, that to me is a difficult thing because the way you're judged could be based on your personality, could be based on the outfit that you chose to wear. And I don't really think some of that stuff is fair. I think sometimes you might be overlooked simply because somebody else is favored. Maybe they already represent a very specific organization. So, much like, oh, figure skating, I just, yeah, I don't really think some of those competitions are set up for specific types of talent. I do wonder if sometimes they get together and say, well, this person is possibly retiring soon or uh, whatnot. Like they do lots and lots of commercials or something. Uh, so let's let that person win. And I don't really like that aspect of it. I don't like that. I would feel that way, that somehow something wasn't fair. And I hope that's not the case. I just feel like that's a possibility that that kind of stuff happens. So, bodybuilding beyond the concept of using some way of like cheating, I just, yeah, when it's based on judges giving you scores, I just don't think that's fair. And I'm sure there's some that would claim that they are fair and all that kind of stuff, but I just think there's too much room for something not going right. Especially for aesthetics. I don't really understand that. So I'm just working on these tail feathers here. I know, ridiculous to even bring it up like that. Now, let's not focus too much, but we're going to. But we're going to. going to work on these. The Maximus of all things. I don't know about you. When I was a kid and I found out different names for the proper parts of the human body, I probably ran around and said it so much that it would just annoy teachers. The gluteus maximus. The Maximus. So my chicken friend here is cheeked up. Okay. I'm going to go with tiny little calves, which no one's really is going to notice because these chicken legs don't need calves. Back here to the Achilles. I could have put sneakers on my friend here. I have these claws kind of move forward a little bit. Because if we're standing, we should be able to see the bottom part of those. And we're going to do slight calf muscles on this one too. Of course we are. Leading back to some claws back here. Let that kind of close out a little bit. Let's have one that's just sort of off to one side here. Okay, don't need much more detail than that for a silly drawing. Oh, I just had another idea. Anyway, I don't think I can. Maybe another time. Go to this crown here once again. The idea that just popped into my head would have been if I would have drawn this to look a little bit like a clown. The famous fast food clown. As soon as I started working on the crown, I kind of thought of that, but I'm sure that exists somewhere, but I didn't look it up. 5.5 minutes. I hope you bring out your sketchbook and you look at the time of the video and say, oh, I'm going to draw for this amount of time today, even if you're drawing something completely different. By no means do you have to draw what I'm drawing. You can even draw a version of it if it suits you, but you don't have to. Yeah, you can just kind of hang out. Listen to me ramble on about nonsense if it suits you. Which is kind of the point, I think. Yeah, look at the traps. Exquisite. These deltoid muscles. They're popping. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to these tail feathers, and I think we're going to let this kind of end after that. I was thinking of using a cup and water thing here. I don't know if I really want to. That ends up adding a few bonus minutes, but right now I'm putting in strands of feathers, and I kind of like the streaky look of that rather than yeah. I'm happy that I kind of fought the urge to put in teeth. Because, you know, chicken teeth are hilarious. Go a little bit here, just to show some kind of texture of sorts. A little bit more towards the bottom of it, I suppose. Same on this one. All right, so let's back this out a little bit more anyway. Oh, let's go all the way to here. Well, that's the idea. is a chicken bigback. We can call him Ronnie the Rooster. That seems like fun. Slight outlining, and then that should be it. All right. I think that's going to be it. I do thank you for hanging out for a minute or so. I hope you're going to have a wonderful day. Should be a pretty good week, I would think. And yeah, stay safe. Be kind to people. Yeah, pick up a pen. Draw a silly picture. All right, well, I feel like that should be all that needs. Well, let's do a little bit here. Like I don't want it to look like a turkey. A little bit under here. All right. Time to let this one go. Ciao for now.